Hey guys, it is Thursday night and live on YouTube. Glad you're here. If you're watching live, fantastic, great. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are listening on the podcast feed after the fact, that's great too. Definitely going to try to make this consumable for the podcast listener. But if you're listening and you think, oh, this might be this particular discussion might be better with some visuals, pop over to the YouTube channel where we've got I've got visual. I have, for those of you watching or for those listening, I can make this available to you as well. I do my own schedule. So it involves not just the primetime games that the 49ers play, but the other primetime games as well as the rest days. Remember, this was a big deal last year where the 49ers played 4 teams off of buys last season. That was the most in the NFL, or tied for the most in the NFL with the Rams. This year, the 49ers again play 4 teams off of buys. The schedule just came out an hour ago, so I've had time to really digest the Niners schedule. I haven't looked at everybody else's schedule, right? So by the time, if you're listening to this, there might be some more information about where the Niners match up in their net rest disadvantage, or how many teams play primetime games, what primetime games they play. The thing that everybody looks at right away, and I know what you're thinking, I'm thinking it too. Raiders got 1 primetime game. What a joke. It's America's team. 1 primetime game for the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's a flex. It's a flexible Week 15 Monday night game. Yikes. No respect. No respect for Antonio Pierce's team. Unbelievable. All right, let's dive in. A lot to talk about with the Niners, and a lot to talk about just with the NFL. I want to give you some overview reactions to it, and then we'll go week by week. One big win here for the 49ers. I'll give you some wins and some losses from this schedule. One big win for the 49ers. They're not going to London. They are not playing the London game in Minnesota. We knew that already by the time Wednesday night rolled around, but that's a major win. Now, there are some losses in this schedule. I told you guys that the number one thing, if I could pick a draft of all these games, the number one thing I would pick for the Niners is when they play their game in Buffalo. Well, it's going to be cold. December 1st in Buffalo, okay? That is not ideal. Cold, maybe rainy. When that game occurs, that's also not ideal, because you would have said, well, give me the Packer game. Give me the Packer game as well. Maybe I'll make some selections about when I want that Packer game. That game's November 24th. So that's really not when you would choose to have either one of those games. Not when you would choose to have either one of those games. And then, Thanksgiving is between those 2 games. So none of that is ideal, right? A holiday week, that doesn't really affect the Niners. They're not playing on Thanksgiving, but to the Packers, Thanksgiving week. So you'd like to get a day with your family, and then to the Bills on Sunday night. And then the other negative there is that the Bills are coming off of a bye. So none of that's a win. Those are losses for the Niners. The Chiefs are coming off of a bye. That's an L. Week 7, the Chiefs are coming off a bye for the 49ers game. Now, there's a negative there. There's a positive there as well. The Niners are playing, and those of you who are watching can see red here. The Niners are playing a Thursday night game in Seattle. So they're not a net negative. They are a net negative of 4 rest days differential here between them and the Chiefs. The Chiefs will have 4 more rest days than the Niners, but that's better than what it often can be, which is 7 rest days. So even though Kansas City's coming off a bye, and Andy Reid is whatever the number is, I haven't looked it up again today, but he's like 18-3 or 16-0, whatever it is off a bye. The Niners play Thursday the week before instead of Sunday the week before. So, and it's a home game. So not ideal. That's a net loss, but it's also kind of a win because it could have been worse for the Niners. They also get the Cowboys off a bye. A lot of people are going to say this is a loss in the Niners schedule. Not me. This is a Sunday night game for the Niners. The Cowboys are coming off a bye, so the Niners have the rest disadvantage -7. However, what do we know about the Cowboys? Mike McCarthy, when he has extra time, all that means is more time to cook up plays. Too much time for thinking. What's the saying? The devil loves idle hands. Well, the game planning devil loves extra time for McCarthy and the special teams coach Bones Jones. They like to take time to come up with special stuff. So getting the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, Cowboys off extra rest. Niners coming off a Chiefs game. Both those games are at home. We knew that already. Those are wins, right? There's parts of these schedules that we already knew, like where the games are. And those are wins, right? Kansas City and Buffalo and Dallas both at home. Those are wins. And Sunday Night Football, that's obviously going to be it's going to be a match, just absolutely monstrous game. So what else do we like? What else worked out well for the Niners here? The Seattle road game for the Niners is a win. Okay, the Seattle road game, Thursday Night Football, is October 13th. That's a beautiful time of year in Seattle, especially if you're going to play. You'd love to play them at 1 o'clock. If you're going to play them at night, primetime game, it's loud. But last year, I looked it up. Keep my Farmer's Almanac handy. Right here in the glove compartment of my John Deere. It was 71 degrees last year in Seattle on October 13th. So it's a win to get the road game in Seattle in mid-October instead of later in the year. Late season, late. Lions. Okay, Monday night game at home. Small win. Lions are coming off a road game in Chicago. So, we'll see what Chicago is. Maybe it'll be cold there. Take a little out of the Lions. They got to go to Chicago. Not a hard, very easy trip for Detroit, but go to Detroit, go to Chicago, turn around, get back home, and then come back out to the 49ers. The Niners have the rest advantage. A couple other positives, right? Niners have the rest advantage when they go to Tampa because the Niners are coming off a bye. Niners will have the rest advantage when they go to Miami as well. So, do with that what you will, because the Niners will be coming off a Thursday night game the week before. So Niners will have a 3-day rest advantage against Miami. You got to get Miami in December. Great. Go to Miami in December. To have rest advantages of both against Tampa as a team. Okay. Nothing crazy there, but for a cross-country trip to have the rest advantage before both of those trips is nice. That's good. Bucs physical team. They'll be coming off a game at Kansas City. So San Francisco will be off a bye. They'll have the rest advantage going into a long trip, and Tampa will not have been home the week before. Tampa was just at Niners playing week 10. Tampa will have just been at Kansas City week 9. So that's a +7 differential for the Niners and a little less of a travel advantage for Tampa since Tampa's coming off a what should be a taxing road game. One other thing to keep in mind here, the Niners net last year, the Niners net rest differential, they were -20. Okay, the Niners played opponents who had 20 days of rest advantage against them last year. This year, it's -16, so only slightly better. But one thing to keep in mind, if you see that number, the end of the year, the Niners Week 18 game against Arizona, that could be on Saturday or Sunday, probably will be Sunday. The week before, Week 17, Arizona plays at the Rams, and that game could be Saturday or Sunday. So just something to keep in mind there. If the Cardinals end up playing on the Cardinals play on a Saturday, Week 17, then they would end up with a 2-day rest advantage over the 49ers for Week 18 because the Niners are playing Monday Night Football. So just something to keep in mind as we go through this whole thing. So those are some of the headlines. Definitely the Chiefs off a bye, the Bills off a bye, Sunday night late, the Packer game late. I'm going to go through this now week by week. And I'll tell you, there are parts of this that we've hit on that I like. That there's parts of this that we hit on that I don't like. That actually I'm interested in, and I want to talk more with you guys about Buffalo and Green Bay. So week one, okay. We knew this game already because this game was already reported. The Niners playing the Jets on Monday Night Football. What do I like about this? What I like about this is that there's going to be a ton. I think even more than a lot of people realize, a ton of pressure, attention, hype, every version of it. There's going to be a ton of it for Brock Purdy this year. Okay. There's going to be, as we get closer to the season, MVP talks. There's going to be, can he back it up? Can he do it again? Remember how efficient he was to start the year last year. It really gave him a great cushion as the year went along, right? So what happens if he throws 2 picks opening night, right? That sort of conversation. And I think why I like this Jets game specifically to start the year is for all of the attention that there will be on Brock, okay? For all of the attention there will be on Brock, there will be a ton of attention on Aaron. It's Aaron Rodgers' return. It'll be, basically a year since Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. Aaron comes with the attention of being Aaron. Aaron comes with the hype of, will he be able to salvage the end of his career here, or will he not come back the same guy? The Jets come with a lot of hype of their own. So the Niners aren't going to fly under the radar. They're not going to be the team no one's paying attention to. None of that stuff. But it would be different, say, if they were opening the season on Monday Night Football, West Coast game against the Vikings or something like that. The Jets and Rodgers are going to get a ton of the attention. And, it'll just more evenly distribute kind of the pressure of what's going to happen on September 8th. Okay, that's week one. Week two, Niners go to the Vikings. That's a 10 a.m. game on CBS. Big win here, right? Huge win here that this game is not in London. This is one of the highlights of the 49ers schedule, that this game is not in London. When you think about the negatives with the 49ers schedule, the teams they play off buys, the late season games in Green Bay and in Buffalo, you have to view those in part through the lens of the Niners didn't get sent to London. So that's a major deal. We know often the Niners start with 2 road games. That's not the case this year, but they get back-to-back road games. Week 3, they get the Rams, and the Rams are going to be coming off a road game at Arizona. Vikings, by the way, coming off a road game against the Giants. So the Niners do go on the road week 2 and week 3. I don't think there's a big thing, but one little small advantage for the Niners, or at least it's not a disadvantage, is that both the Vikings and the Rams are also coming off of road games. Rams are coming off a game in Arizona. Like I said, that's not a huge thing. Week 4. Okay, week 4, the Patriot game. This game's going to fly under the radar on the Niners schedule because there's so much going on here. But it's interesting, right? Drake May, going to be a big road trip for him. They will have just come off a big game, the Belichick Bowl without Bill. The Patriots will have just come off a game at the Jets, and that'll be a 105 game on Fox. All right, week 5. Now we get into the part of the schedule where Sunday Night Football can begin to flex games. The way the NFL schedule works is from weeks 5 to 10, the NFL can flex twice Sunday Night Football. From weeks 11 to week 17, any game can be flexed in and out of Sunday Night Football with a 12-day notice on that. Keep in mind the Niners play 5 primetime games, so they could play one more, but they can't get flexed to Thursday, which we'll get to later in the schedule. And one other thing to note as we get into the schedule, well, I'll get to this. So week 4, Patriots game at home. Pat's coming off a road game at the Jets. Week 5, Cardinal game at home. That's a 105 game. Cardinals are coming off of a home game against Washington. All right, whatever. Now we're in the flex part of the schedule. This is a 105 game. That is a flexible game. This game won't get flexed. Week 6, Week 6, October 13th, Seahawks. Okay. This is Thursday Night Football, Prime Video. Seahawks are coming off a home game against the Giants. Fine. Great. You figured that you would have at least one Thursday night game against the NFC West. In fact, the Niners have 2 Thursday night games against the NFC West. The Rams game is the other Thursday night game, one on the road, one at home. The Seahawks game being in October, mid-October is great. 71 degrees last year on October 13th. But I think the other win here for the Niners, if you're going to play 2 Thursday games, which is what they did last year, you'd love for both of them to be in your time zone. So that's another major win here for the Niners. Thursday night game on the road, Pacific time. Okay. In your division, familiar opponent, first meeting. Great. Now we get to week 7. 125, Fox game of the week. This is Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy. 3 of the most relevant quarterbacks in today's NFL. No doubt about it, right? These are 3 of the big stories of this NFL season are going to be, how's Tom Brady on Fox, replacing Greg Olsen, who's part of the Fox 2 crew now. How is Tom Brady acclimating? Mahomes and his new receivers. You know, the Chiefs moved up and took a receiver. The Niners, would they have wanted that receiver? Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Worthy. I mean, you know, the storylines go on and on. Again, Kansas City's coming off of a bye, but the Niners are coming off of Thursday Night Football. So while the Chiefs do have an advantage, and Andy Reid's great with a bye, the Niners only are a -4 rest advantage or disadvantage here in this game. Fox game of the week, 125 games. Anytime you see a 125 game on the schedule, okay, and the Niners play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 4 of them are on Fox. 1 is on CBS, the Dolphins game. Those games cannot be flexed. Okay, those games are locked in at 125. Those games will not be flexed. So just keep that in mind as well. If you think, oh, well, could the Niners get moved with that Chiefs game? No, that game's not going anywhere. Tom Brady's pilot, his personal pilot, knows I'm flying into Silicon Valley on October 20th. All right. October 27th, Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys. Dallas, as I mentioned, coming off of a bye. So the Niners are a -7 rest differential there. Dallas has 6 days or 13 days of rest, and the Niners have 6 days of rest, obviously, for that game. Here's another win. I didn't mention this earlier. Another win for the Niners. Good bye week. Okay. Week 9, after you've played Seattle, Kansas City, and Dallas. Those are going to 2 of those 3 games are primetime games. That's a taxing stretch. You're going to really, by the time week 9 gets here, you have a feeling you're going to really want the bye. So good little spot for the bye there for the Niners. Going to the Bucs, I already broke that down probably more than we should break down a Bucs game, but not. I mean, look, long trip. No Pinehurst or whatever. Stay here for the Niners. And the Bucs are coming off of a road game in Kansas City. Week 11, now we're at November 17th. Here's another team the Niners play off a bye, Seattle. Niners play Seattle at home, 105 105 game. So this is a flexi. This is a flexi game. Probably wouldn't get flexed to Monday because the Cowboys play Houston Monday. That's a good game. And Indy plays the Jets on Sunday night, and the Niners can't go to Thursday. So that game's pretty safely set there. Seattle coming off a bye. So, this is 1, 2, 3. This is 3 out of a 4. 1, 2, 3. 3 teams out of 4 that the Niners play where that team is coming off of a bye. The good news for the Niners, they should be, moderately rested because they just had their bye 2 weeks before. Now things get hairy. Actually, it helps to be hairy in this part of the schedule because we can be cold. It'll be cold outside. So having a couple layers of fur on you, the missing link, caveman, that'd be helpful here. Niners go to Green Bay, November 24th. Okay. Packers coming off a game in Chicago. This is a 125 Fox game. Great, right? I mean, in the sense that it's better that this is not a Sunday night game. If you're looking for a glass half full, better that it's not a Monday night game. The Niners played the Packers at home last year in the rain. So could it be cold? Could it be wet? Yes. And I want to talk about the next game, and then I want to talk about both of these. Now we get to Buffalo. You got Thanksgiving week. I mentioned this earlier, so I won't rehash it here. Thanksgiving week, that's just a challenging week, right? Then you go to Buffalo, and Buffalo is coming off of a bye. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 4 teams in 6 weeks that the Niners are playing off a bye. December 1, the Bills. So it's winter. Okay, it's winter in Buffalo, and they're coming off a bye, and it's a night game. So those are like 3 things that you wouldn't want, right? Buffalo off a bye, late in the year, night game. Not ideal. I'm going to stop right there. It's also important in the evaluation of Brock Purdy, the ongoing evaluation of Brock Purdy, and make no mistake, even if you are pro Brock, and I think if you've been watching or listening, you know, I think Brock is really good. I like Brock. Let's also be clear. The position of this show, as a journalist would say, this reporter is still believes the jury is out. The evaluation is ongoing. I don't want to hear that's not fair. I don't want to hear he's already proven everything he has to prove. That's insane. He is not. Okay. So the evaluation's ongoing. So from a schedule, from a win and loss standpoint, maybe you'd rather these games somewhere else in the schedule. I would, right? But you don't get to go through life untested. You don't get to go through life with everything set up exactly the way you want. All right. There's not always a parking spot right in front of your apartment. All right. So sometimes it's just going to be hard. And at some point, if you're going to have success over a long period of time, you have to show that you can overcome adversity. There's a little thing called experience building you up for later experience. And that's in part what this is. So, you know, from a schedule standpoint, if we go wins and losses, positive and negative, these are negatives, right? You don't want this at Green Bay, at Buffalo, November, December. From a big picture, developmental standpoint, this is really interesting. There's a part of me that really enjoys this December, this late November, early December stretch because it's really interesting. It's extremely interesting. So just understand that there's 2 ways to look at the schedule. 1, what's good, what's bad. Where did you catch a break? Where did you not catch a break? There's the other part of it, which is, where are the potholes? Where are the opportunities to rise above? Where are the opportunities to get tested? It's not always going to be flat road. So where are the little hills here? Where are the mountains? The mountains are more interesting than the flat road, right? Unless the flat road is the Mulsanne Strait. But I love and hate week 12 and week 13 for the 49ers. That's what I'm saying. I hate it from a schedule breakdown standpoint. I love it from an interest standpoint. Let's see, dude. Here's another test. It's a big test, okay? It's not, life ain't easy. So let's go get it. Let's see what you got. So I'm not mad about it, all right? I wouldn't have chosen it, but I'm not mad about it. Week 14, got the Bears. So remember, later you're going to play the Lions off of a Bears game. This time you're playing the Bears off a Lions game. I don't know. It'll be great for cross tape later. There's a 125 Fox game. Very interesting there. Okay, so I said I thought the Bears could sneakily maybe be a primetime game. That didn't happen, but they did get a really good window here. So this is an attractive game for Fox, a 125 game for Fox. That week 14 in the NFL is really good. If you just think of some of the prime games that you're looking at here, you've got Bears 49ers at 125. That's interesting. The Thursday night game that week is Green Bay, Detroit. The Sunday night game is Chargers, Chiefs. And the Monday night game is Bengals, at Cowboys. So that's a great week. That's really a great week. I will get to some of the other parts of this non-Niner schedule coming up. So week 14, you come home after the Bills game. I mean, I guess that's the positive there. Week 15, Rams Thursday night game. So positive, it's a home game. Negative, it's a short week, but that's what Thursdays are. So, you have no disadvantage against the Rams. The Rams are coming off a game against Buffalo. So maybe that's going to be a physically taxing game for them. Whatever, they got to travel to you. Week 16, after this Thursday night game, you get some extra rest when you go play Miami. Okay. You go play Miami here. And that game, they're coming off a road game at Houston. All right. So Miami's coming off a road. Long trip. December going to Miami. Not going to complain about that. Niners are +3 here on the rest differential. Niners come back from Miami Monday night against Detroit. Okay, this is week 17. This is December 29th. Week 17 is what the Wednesday Christmas games are a part of. So the games that are this week, right? The Niners are going to play the Lions on Monday night. There's going to be a bunch of games on December 29th, which is Sunday. December 25th is Christmas, is Wednesday. There's 2 games that day. Kansas City at Pittsburgh, Baltimore at Houston. Those 2 teams, just as an aside, those teams are going to play the previous Saturday. So they'll have a little extra time to get ready for Wednesday. It'll be the same amount of time as you get if you go Sunday to Thursday. So just something to keep in mind there. Doesn't affect the 49ers. But Niners get Monday night here. A slight positive for the Niners. If you're going to play the Lions, tough game. We knew that was going to be a home game. A Monday night game coming back from Miami. So you get an extra day just to recover from. The Niners will have gone Thursday, cross-country. Thursday, Rams, week 15. Cross-country flight, Miami, week 16. Week 17, get an extra day to get ready for the Lions. It's not an advantage over the Lions because the Lions are playing the previous Sunday in Chicago, but it just maybe gives the Niners a needed day for that Monday night game, which is an awesome game. I mean, that's having that game late in the year. It'll be, who knows what the standings look like at that point. If the Packers are good, both teams have better divisions this year, we think. So that game could really matter to both of them, and obviously could be a preview of a playoff game that could happen around the corner. Week 18, I mentioned this earlier, but let's just hit it real quick. They go to the Cardinals. This game could be Saturday or Sunday. There's only 2 Saturday games, week 18, but it could be Saturday or Sunday. Just something to keep an eye on. The Cardinals are coming off a week 17 game in LA, which also could be Saturday or Sunday. So there's a possibility, let's say the Cardinals play week 17 on Saturday, and then let's just say the Niners and Cardinals play again on Saturday. The Niners would be on extra short rest, right? Because the Niners play week 17 Monday. So week 18, they really don't want to play the Cardinals on Saturday. And you would expect that the league would not do that to the 49ers, given that they just played Monday. But who knows? If that game's for the division, then they might. There's the possibility that Arizona is going to have an extra day of rest. The question is just, do they have 2 extra days of rest? If they were to play Saturday, week 17, and then Saturday, week 18 against the Niners, and the Niners coming off a Monday night, then that would give them, I give them 1 extra day. So now 2 extra days. Yeah, 2 extra days. Anyway. All right. So that's that. Big picture stuff on the schedule. As you saw here, the NFC West plays the NFC North. The NFC West plays the AFC East. The 17th game is NFC West, AFC East. I'm sorry. The 17th game is NFC West, AFC West. All right. So that's where that Kansas City game comes from. And then the crossover in the conference first place games are Dallas and Tampa. I didn't go through all of the primetime games, but I'm not going to run through them all, but a few of the interesting ones that really stand out. Rams at Detroit, I think, is an awesome Sunday night opener. That Sunday night game, it's a great matchup from a 49ers perspective. It's just it's a really interesting game for the Niners, right? Those are teams they're going to have to go through if they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Buffalo at Miami, week 2, Thursday night's interesting. Chicago, Houston. I mean, all these games. Chicago at Houston is interesting. Week 2 is Kirk Cousins. That's a Sunday night game. It's Kirk Cousins. Atlanta at Philly is a Monday night game. What's going on with Cousins and Penix? Everyone's going to talk about that. What else is good here? Buffalo at Baltimore is a Sunday night game in week 4. That's awesome. Buffalo at the Jets, Denver, New Orleans, Jets, Steelers. I'm just going through this for those of you listening here. We have Monday night doubleheader week 3 and week 7. I mean, all these games are fine. Vikings at Rams is a Thursday. Tampa at KC, Jacksonville, Philly, Houston, the Jets. Houston, the Jets is week 9 that I was run a bye. That's a Thursday night game. That's one of those games that feels like or OG Thursday night football, right? But it's actually a really good Thursday night game, potentially. Should be, right? On paper right now, that's a really good Thursday night game. But your first reaction, like everybody, I'm sure, you see that game, you're like, your heart goes, no. And then your brain says, nah, it's okay, actually. Houston, the Jets, you had a little flashback there to OG Thursday night when it was just, punishment for bad teams. Let's see some more Thursday night. Cincy, Baltimore. That's good. Detroit at Houston is an interesting Sunday night game. Miami at the Rams. That's an interesting Monday night game. That's week 10. A few more here. Dallas, Houston is a good game. That's a Monday night game. Oh, week 12, Monday Night Football, Baltimore at the Chargers, the Harbaughs. That's one of the best Monday night games of the year. Obviously, I think they're going to be really good teams. If you've been listening or watching, I think the Chargers are going to be in the AFC Championship game within the next 2 years. But that's also the Harbaugh Bowls. That's an awesome game. That's a great game. Let's get into December now. Green Bay, Detroit is a Thursday night game. That's a great Thursday night. That's an awesome Thursday night game. Good for Detroit. That game is indoors. That's a break for Detroit. I'm not looking at their other schedule right now, but that's something we'll do in the coming days, which is, all right, who do the Niners face on the road to the 1 seed in the NFC, which is really what we talk about, like the road to the Super Bowl. When we look at schedules, we're really looking at the 1 seed. That I think is the way we should look at schedules. It's not about the road to the Super Bowl. It's about the 1 seed. And Detroit getting they're getting a Green Bay game late is really beneficial to Detroit. The fact that game's at home, because I think kind of like the questions we have about Purdy, Goff is not a bad weather quarterback. So let's just look and see when their other Packer game is. Their other Packer game is early November. So I guess it's possible. I need a Milwaukeean, the cheesehead, to tell me. I could check my Farmer's Almanac. Hey, McKivitz, reach into the glove box and toss me the Farmer's Almanac. All right, where was I? Detroit, Green Bay, week 15. Chicago at Minnesota. That could be flexed. Atlanta at the Raiders. That could be flexed. Cleveland at Cincy. Pretty good AFC Thursday night game. Tampa at Dallas. Could be flexed, but won't. New Orleans at Green Bay. Seattle at Chicago's in it. That's it. There's a win for the Niners. Seattle is playing at Chicago late in the year, Thursday night football. If that's an NFC, divisional race win for the Niners. Miami at Cleveland. Okay. All right. So there's the games. Look, I mean, there are parts of the schedule that you don't love, but to me, this feels very similar to the schedule last year for the 49ers. There are just potholes. They're at the rest disadvantage. Ultimately, how big of a deal is that? Time will tell. From an injury standpoint, I think it's hard. You can't just look at it and go, all right, win, rest disadvantage. Do you win the game? Did you lose the game? You're also looking at, what happens from an injury standpoint after, and that sort of thing. So, it's a number to keep in mind. I think we can overdo it a little bit. The Buffalo game, the Green Bay game stand out as tough, but also very interesting. And in the end, there are parts about the schedule that I think people, now you look at it, you go, oh, I don't love that. But part of it is there were parts about the schedule that are good that we just already knew, right? Like the Kansas City game and the Cowboy game being home games. Jets game being a home game. Lions game being a home game, right? Those are positives that I think are going to be in the immediate analysis of the schedule are going to be forgotten a little bit because we already knew those things. So there's that schedule. By the way, I did want to share. I haven't mentioned this yet, but I did mention it the other day, but I haven't mentioned it yet today. One thing I'm going to do as soon as it's up and ready is I am going to go, and I don't get any money for this. Okay. This person doesn't get any money for this. But I'm going to go to teamcalendar.com. Okay. teamcalendar.com. I'm going to go to teamcalendar.com and, I've talked to the guy who runs this website. His name's Scott. Okay. There's no ads on this website. It doesn't read any of your information. He's not paying to sponsor this video. He's not making any money on this website, and I'm not making money on this recommendation. But what teamcalendar.com is it's a way to add your favorite team or teams calendars to your phone calendars. Okay. I'm going to show it to you for those of you watching right now on YouTube. It's just a way to add the calendar to your calendar. So you just go in, you click on your team, you go, oh, let's see, I got the Niners, I got the Chiefs, right? Whatever you want, or just one team, and you're going to get those games added to your Google Calendar, your iPhone calendar, your Outlook, or your webcal calendar. I don't know what that is, but that's an option. They also have, like right now, I have my NBA playoff game alerts there. And Scott is a very sharp guy. He's working on this it's a passion project for him. It's really cool. I know he's got several thousand users right now. Last time I mentioned it to you guys, a few of you reached out to him, and I know a bunch of you signed up. So, and when I say sign up, it's very easy. You just click the team, you hit add to the calendar. And again, it does not get access to your information. And I'm only telling you about this because I think it's a cool service that somebody created. A smart guy created it. And I think it's something you could use. So nothing anybody here is making money off of, but worth checking out, teamcalendar.com. And if you have feedback for Scott, you can go and you can send him an email. I've talked to him about college football, which I think would be awesome. And I've given him some feedback. So you can do the same thing there. All right. So there is a lot of takes for me on the 49ers schedule. And I'm going to put it back up here for those of you watching. And we can talk about it now. So I'm going to have the challenge here of going back through all of your comments and see what's good here. What do we got? Something changed where I can't see my favorited. There we go. The Patriots game here is going to be the forgotten game. Yeah, that's going to be the big overlooked game. Frederick said the rest disadvantage should be required to even out evenly over a relatively short time span in the CBA, in my opinion. I think everybody is going to have stuff they don't like about their schedules. It's a humongous puzzle. I think you get some trade-offs, and I think one of the Niners' trade-offs was not going to London. Chad asked, what does it take for the Purdy noise to end? Years. That's what it takes. It takes years. Josh Allen is a superior player. Josh Allen has not been to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen noise, if you want to call it that, you just think back to last year. There's ongoing debate about whether Josh Allen is good enough to win a championship. And it's going to continue. Okay. And we're talking about a guy who's been in the league playing at a high level longer than Brock and came in as a more premium prospect. So what it takes for the noise to end, it's a simple formula. It's time plus winning. It's not, well, if Guy talks about it every day, then he can convince everybody. No, it's a simple formula of winning plus time. And, not to be philosophical, but I guess it's not philosophical, not to preach here, but that's just the formula of life, right? Friendship, time plus reliability, right? Time plus whatever. Trust, time. Maybe that's the better word. What is trust? It's time plus reliability. Andrew says, Guy, are you working for NBC this season? I don't know why you asked that, Andrew. Not that I know of. I will have some football news to share with you at some point. Sean says, minus 16 rest differential, still Garbaggio. Or as my friend John Dickinson likes to say, basura. Joe P. Rest advantage isn't even a thing. Spending so much time on that nonsense, injuries, turnovers, third down and goal line defense are all that matters. As always, I'm forced to be Goldilocks here and find just the right opinion. I think the rest advantage gets overplayed. I think it's cool information. I think we can make too much of it, especially in May. We get to November and we start to really see how things play out. That said, rest is not nothing. And being more rested than the other team in a really physical sport means something. The Browns game last year is a game that a lot of Niner fans would point to, or maybe the Niners would point to. But you could also argue, well, they were right in position to win that thing. So maybe they just lost it, which is what Joe P. here would say. So, I don't know. It's hard to quantify. The injuries come into play when you're more tired. Absolutely. I mean, that is proven. We know that, right? But people are getting hurt left and right when they're not tired too. So I think it can be overplayed here. I think on May 15th, it's what we have to work with as we look at the schedule, right? One thing we haven't even talked about today, and I don't want to spend much time on it because everyone's going to say it, is what the NFL has created. It's pretty incredible. There's NBA playoff games. The Major League Baseball season's underway. The NHL postseason is happening, I'm told. And the NFL gets headline billing on the day its schedule comes out. That's pretty powerful. So we can only kind of use the metrics we have today. But yeah, I mean, we dive into the season and then we really start to see what matters and what doesn't matter. Kid Icarus says, M-Rob, Michael Robinson from NFL Network, never gives the Niners any love, and he took the under for 12 plus wins. They drafted him too. I don't know if he does or doesn't. I'll have to check with my guy, Mike Yam, on that. Constantly getting screwed on rest differential. I'll be interested to see. I'm not going to do all the analysis because it just takes a lot of legwork, and I know that Warren Sharp's going to do it. The teams that play a lot of primetime games, it just gets a little harder to be at a rest advantage if you're going to play primetime games. So like Kansas City, Buffalo, the Jets, right? Where do those teams net out relative to the 49ers? That's the ones who you can compare them to. Sean Z said, surprised the Super Bowl rematch isn't in prime time. Look, Sunday Night Football really matters. Monday Night Football really matters. Prime Video, that matters. But the CBS broadcast team of Nance and Romo, I'm a little out of memory on their salaries, but that's a $25 million booth. Burkhart and Brady, it's a very expensive booth. What I mean by that is the 125 Fox games, okay, and the 125 CBS games also really matter. And the Niners play, what did I say earlier? 1, 2, 3, 5 of those. Okay, so those are the game. When you see the 125 game, these games are going to be Nance and Romo, Burkhart and Brady. In all likelihood. Chiefs is going to be Burkhart and Brady. The Rams game won't be. So it's not every time. So don't make that a blanket statement. But like Chiefs, at least I don't think it's going to be. I haven't looked at the rest of the schedule. But that's a Fox game of the week. So that's a massive game, right? Fox has a great amount of power, rightfully so. They pay a lot of money too. And part of showing the NFL that we're all in on you guys and we're spending is making sure that you get treated well. Fox doesn't have Sunday night. Fox doesn't have Monday night. Fox doesn't have Thursday. So their most premium games are their 125 Pacific time game of the week. And so they're going to get prime time level games in that window. As an example, the Niners Chiefs game is 125 on Fox. Okay. That week, the Sunday night game is Jets at Steelers. I mean, that's going to rate, right? Big brands. That's not better than Chiefs Niners. Monday night doubleheader. Okay. Baltimore at Tampa, Chargers at Cardinals. Neither one of those guys can hold a candle to Niners Chiefs. So, you don't look at the schedule like the best game of the week is always going to be in prime time because Fox needs to get theirs, CBS needs to get theirs, and the NFL makes sure that happens because those games are a big deal to the league and to those networks. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. We got some shit talking in the chat. What is the win-loss record this year? I haven't really thought. Let's just do a quick pass at it. I'm not afraid at that. We'll go win. Yikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 0. I'll go L just for. I don't know. I already hate this. I already hate how much I. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Boy, I mean, we're looking at, it's 11 to 13 wins is what we're talking about with some swing games. That was just a quick little, I'm not going to go through it game by game for the listeners, but for those who watched it, you saw I just basically put 12 wins down without thinking. I wasn't thinking. Oh, where did this go? I saw somebody say one of my favorite words, but now I lost it. Somebody said, what a piece of horse shit. Rest different. Sorry. Earmuffs. Rest differential 2 years in a row. I just love horse shit. Such a good old school baseball word. Ooh. Let's see. People are yelling at each other again. Fine with me. All right. Okay. So there we go. There's the schedule. Those are the initial thoughts. I haven't looked at everybody else's schedule yet. So, we'll do that in the next few days. But at some point, maybe I'll post this schedule somewhere as well for you guys to access, make it accessible for you guys. So you can look at what I'm looking at. And if you get any ideas, changes, anything else I should add to that thing, let me know. All right. Let's see what's coming up. I think a Thursday afternoon. Yep. Thursday afternoon with Kruger. So 2:00 Pacific with Larry. So we'll talk more about this with him. And I'll try to remember all of my takes from this one. And I'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks for hanging. Hey, hit that like. Did we get to 100 likes here on the live stream? When you hit the like button, that really helps that helps things out, right? That it tells YouTube that people like this video, and it tells the algorithm people like the video. So that's helpful when you hit the like, when you subscribe, want to get some momentum back in the subscriptions as we head towards the season. OTA's coming up. We're going to be out down there at Santa Clara. So a lot going on, and I'll tell you guys what I'm doing for football season and my play-by-play work later. I'll be able to tell you about that. But it's going to be a really fun football season. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really busy. I actually have, if there's anybody, I've realized sometimes I got to ask you guys, because some of you are really smart. Not everybody, but a lot of you. I'm going to need good internet, streaming level internet from hotel rooms this year. I don't think I'll be able to find a WeWork everywhere. So there's going to be some weekends in the football season where maybe I'm streaming from a hotel room. And as we know, hotel rooms have bad internet. I know there's some MiFis that'll get you like 80 upload speed. I want like 200. Is that possible? Can I do that? And how do I do that? My DMs are open on X and Instagram. So if somebody knows the best way to travel fast internet, let me know. I'm interested in that. Also, some of you asked about the 262 hats that I've been working on. Should get a new shipment of samples soon, and we'll try to get those turned around as well. So anyway, question for you guys. I'll put it out to there's definitely an expert out there in the viewership or the listenership that can hopefully help me solve that problem. And I'll try to solve that problem. All right. That's it for this. Have a good Wednesday night. Back with more on Thursday. Appreciate y'all being here, and I'll talk to you later. See you.